about John Hines.
Why would we ever talk about John? Okay, well, we probably will have to. We probably will have to this
There will
episode
be
if
some
we're
John Hines coming.
there will. Whoa, he's gonna what?
He's
Yeah.
what?
Yeah, you heard me. John Hines getting lit.
I went to the store today thinking, okay, there's no way they're gonna have any Bapple left. And I suddenly found like a 30 case of it for 25 bucks, which for a beer I never had before. I am not spending 25 bucks to try a fucking can of beer, but I had to do it for Bapple. You know, someone who hypes that shit up like it's the second coming of like the first time someone drank Coke, and I'm not talking like the new Coke, I'm talking like the Coke with actual cocaine in it. Bought a case for 25 bucks. I had to leave most of it downstairs. I have six of it in this little mini fridge right behind me, and I'm gonna be drinking it with some frozen pizza. Not drinking the frozen pizza, but I'm gonna be drinking it while eating some frozen pizza and enjoyed some wild puck. How about that?
Well, can we get
Dallas,
a taste
Minnesota.
test?
Taste test right now? No, I can't. I can't drink on the pod. This is professional. We gotta. I mean, you already drank on the pod,
I
Professional,
was
but
about to say I was
prof-
drinking
you
last
already
week.
you already drank on the
professional,
pod. So
my
I mean,
ass.
I might drink again. We don't know.
you wearing this Svechnikov jersey for a wild puck. That's crazy.
Look,
You got the no no no. That's not even
well,
that's not
well,
even the
why?
most absurd part of the fit. You got the Thrashers hat. You got the Atlanta Thrashers hat.
Yes,
It's
That's
because
sir.
he's Donald
crazy.
Waddell. It's
Go
because he's Donald
Thrashers. I'm
Waddell.
Donnie Waddy. I'd represent.
Donnie Watt. Hey, represent. But yeah, no, I'm excited for the slate tonight. Last night, the game ended around like the Vegas game ended around like 11:20 p.m. Pacific time.
Yeah, tell me
And
about it. I fucking 1:30 a.m. bullshit. I
so
hate you, Gary Bettman.
so I'm watching the game, right? Vegas goes down 4-3 with like 6 minutes to go in the third. I'm like, fuck. This is exactly like I imagined this scenario in my head and I was like, this is exactly how I imagine this scenario going down. And I know the team has like been kind of like built off comeback wins sometimes this season. I was not hopeful this time because the playoffs are a completely different beast, but shout out Pavel Dorofeyev of having a hell of a breakout these last two games. Scored a goal game four, almost got the overtime winner if it wasn't for an offside Jack Eichel, and then has a hat trick in game five, which is already insane because I think before game four he only had one goal in like 12 postseason games, which is nuts because now he has four in his last two. And then you get to overtime. Vegas gets a power play early on. I'm like, okay, our power play scored today. We might win this right here. We didn't score. Overtime one ends. Overtime two begins. At this point, my heart is like bum 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 throughout watching the game, not the intermission. Thank you, Zaylor. uh yeah, and like I'm like almost shaking. Like I'm like my hands are like this. I'm recreating it. And then I see Riley Smith take his stick, high stick a Utah player. I'm like, fuck. Fuck. Like Utah's power play has not been good through the entire series. They've only scored once, and that was in game three. But I'm like, if there's any time that this power play is like actually going to score again, it's going to be in this overtime. And they killed off most of it. And then a Jack Eichel breakaway off a horrible mismanage by Mackenzie Weegar leads to a shorthanded chance, which Jack Eichel does not convert. So there's a face-off in the offensive zone on a shorthanded penalty kill, and then Brett Howden off a great pinch by Mitch Marner, who was a player I was watching heading into these playoffs, and I wanted to see him do good. He hasn't really been performing to my expectations, but these games might be a turn. That game might be a turning point for him. He had two primary assists on two Brett Howden shorthanded goals, which is how that game ended last night. A Brett Howden shorthanded goal, a beautiful snipe, and
Incredible.
I lost my shit. I probably woke up my neighbors. I woke up my sister for sure. I woke up my dog. Pretty sure I woke up the entire fucking neighborhood the way I celebrated. But I also I also tweaked something in my knee, which went away after a couple minutes. But yeah, no, fantastic game for the boys last night. Talking like if I'm a part of the team, but
You are
yeah,
Who
part of
is
the
no,
he?
yeah, but yeah, no, great game. Lots of great games yesterday. Even the ones that didn't go to overtime. There were some fun games. This is a very long intro and kind of cutting into the
I was gonna
podcast
say, are we
material here.
still in the intro?
Yes. But yeah, we'll be right back after the intro.
Welcome back to the Coast to Coast podcast. I'm your host, Donnie, joined by my co-host, Olin. And
What's up?
today we have two special guests. We have Zaylor and we have Ben from our last episode. Let's get right into it, fellas.
Lots of good stuff last night. Especially that Knights game. I already kind of went into it, but about like a quick little recap of the game. I was so close to buying a ticket and like damn near skipping work just to go to that game. Like, fuck, I don't want to drive all the way down there. I just don't really feel like it, especially after work. Now I wish I fucking did, because holy shit, what a
Would have
game!
gotten your money's worth.
What more than my money's worth. Seeing a playoff overtime winner, I think that's already more than your money's worth. A double overtime, wow.
Yeah, tell me about a double overtime game I went to.
I've been so fortunate to be able to go to every game so far this series, and that's been unbelievable. Going from Vegas up to Utah, back down to Vegas. I'm going back up to Utah tomorrow morning to catch Game 6. I'm literally going to buy a ticket right now or whenever I get the chance, and we're going to go get this thing. It's the second shorthanded double overtime goal in NHL history.
That's crazy.
Unbelievable.
You want to know a fun fact? That's only happened in one building, and that's T-Mobile Arena.
T-Mobile Arena.
I should know. I was at Game 6 when current Vegas Golden Knight and former San Jose Shark Tomas Hertl forced a Game 7 at T-Mobile Arena, and of course, you know how that series ended. And now he's a Golden Knight playing in this series, and
Kind of
that's all I'll
innocuous,
say
but
about. Oh, that's all I'll say about Tomas Hertl right now.
yeah.
Here, I got something to throw in here. I want to talk about this from the Utah side of things because I think if you're coming at this from a Utah standpoint, you pretty much had the series in your hands last night. I mean, you had what was it, a lead 4-3 lead with a minute to go in regulation, and I mean, you were on home ice for game 6. You had the chance to close this out at home, and you're on the power play in double overtime, and first of all, you let the other team's best players get a breakaway. And I mean, you can see, I don't know if how many people saw it on the broadcast, but I mean, Uyghur looked absolutely gassed after that play. He got lucky that itself didn't go in. And then, I mean, if you look at the formation on the play after that led to the goal, I mean, there was nothing there. I mean, I really think after that the team had lost all of it. I think if you want an honest opinion from me, Utah looks like they might be toast because unless you're relying on a Vejmelka game where he goes absolutely insane tomorrow, is it tomorrow night or is it
Yeah,
Saturday?
tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night. I don't see a way they come back from that humiliating and defeating of a loss. That is one of the most demoralizing ways you can lose a hockey game is on a power play in double overtime and getting scored on shorthanded. A small parallel here to last year's series between Minnesota and Las Vegas. The Ryan Hartman would have been game winner.
Offsides.
And the offsides
By
on
that
that
much. By that
by that
much.
much by Gustav Nyquist. And just like I think that the Wild ended up losing that game and they did not win the series. And I think if you're looking at that, it's one of those small moments where I think that's the straw breaking on the camel's back. And I think I don't really see a way that they come back from that. But
I think
that's
I
how I see it.
completely agree.
I think a huge part of it is like I said this when we were like predicting like or like previewing every team going into the playoffs is like Vegas. Yes, they don't have as much skill and speed as Utah does, but they have physicality and they have experience. Experience isn't everything in these playoffs, but when you're in those tight moments, those, you got a power play with a few minutes left, you got a penalty kill in overtime. It's just those close games, you want that experience. Brett Howden, been there, done that. Mitch Marner, he doesn't have a lot of experience, but he's been there to a minimum. A lot of those guys on the Vegas Golden Knights have plenty of playoff experience. Of course, you got some cup winners on there. Um, it's just it's really nice to have that experience because once you need that experience, you can get it. And I felt like Vegas, they just got it last night, and that's how they won the game. And I'm not saying that Utah's a bad team because Utah's a really good team. A lot of people said this was going to be a 5-4, maybe even sweeper Vegas. I did see that way. I kind of knew Utah was a sneaky good team. They were the team that I wanted Vegas to face the least, and they've given Vegas some tough fits. They gave Vegas some fits. Like last night, the last two goals Utah scored were off 2-on-1 breakaways off defensive breakdowns from the Golden Knights. And they won the game at the end, but you kind of really can't do that. And also the 3-0 comeback in game 4 was also kind of a moment where you think that Utah could take over and win the game, which I'm still as much as I'm celebrating right now, this series still far from over, and it's the fate of the series is going to be determined tomorrow night, whether it's a win or loss for Vegas. And I feel like Vegas has to play their best game of the playoffs tomorrow night. And I definitely think we'll see that because it's very hard to rally behind losing back-to-back overtime games the way that Utah did. Like first game, you thought you had a break after the offside goal was called back, and then just to lose it with 50 seconds away from going to a double overtime, and then like we've mentioned a million times before, power play, shorthanded goal in double
Yeah.
overtime. It's very tough to come back from, and playing in front of the home fans will help, but Utah's going to be digging in a little bit. Vegas would have to dig in just as hard to win the game, and I still think they will. I had Vegas in 6 heading into the series. It's looking like it could stay Vegas in 6, but you never know until that final buzzer hits. So
A more experienced Utah team would put away that game 4 as well. I mean,
exactly.
you come back
Yeah, I
up.
was I was gonna mention the game four.
Yeah, because I think, in my opinion, that was a more defining game for Vegas. Like once they won that, I was like, okay, they got all of their momentum back.
Well,
Once
Yeah,
here's the
well,
thing: is that
time.
in Game 5, is that Utah again had the chance to seal it, but again they tossed it. I mean, I think the number one factor that Vegas
bless
has
you.
in their favor tomorrow night is momentum. And I think that's the biggest factor when it comes into a late playoff series that go longer than 6 games. That's the biggest thing. And after how demoralizing the last 2 losses have been for Utah, at least for me, I don't see a way where they experienced teams know how to put if they put those 2 games away, this series is over. Experienced teams know
Yeah.
how to put those 2 games away.
Yeah, the Minnesota series last year, very similar. Vegas comes out with a strong game 1 win, kind of falters in game 2. You Minnesota put belt to ass game 2 and game 3 too as well. And then, big game 4 goes to overtime. Barbashev, late winner from him, and then a game the only playoff game I went to last year was that game 5 with Brett Howden scoring off a very nice play on the boards. Puck goes out in front of him, he scores. And then I'll give credit to Minnesota because I think that Minnesota team would beat this Utah team, in my opinion, in a playoff series. Because I just trust the talent that Minnesota has more than I do Utah. And
I want to go back to the game four just because I think that was a defining moment for the series and the season. Vegas goes up 3-0, and I'm very passionate about the Golden Knights. You know, I've watched every game this season. I've watched every game ever. Like I know this team. I love this team. I saw them go up 3-0. Cole Smith deflects it in, and I'm like, all right, this game's over. You know, I start texting my friends. I start saying, Andre Tourney can't outcoach John Tortorella. You know, Utah's a good team, but they're young, they're inexperienced, all this, blah, blah, blah. This game's over. The series is, you know, we're going to win the series. It's going to be awesome, whatever. You know, we're going to tie the series. We're going to come home and we're going to win. And in a blink of an eye, this young, high octane team out of nowhere comes back and they rally back. And some of it's luck. Like I don't want to take that away. A lot of people have said Vegas has gotten lucky. I look at it the opposite way. I think Utah's gotten very lucky. A couple wrist shots from the point. The Keller go-ahead goal in Game 4. It's a wraparound that bounces off of Theodore's hip and into the net as he's trying to. He's sliding so that he literally prevents that exact same play, and it bounces off of his hip and into the back of the net. That happens. I mean, how many times does that happen in the National Hockey League? How many times do you win a game by scoring 4 goals when you only shoot 12 shots? It doesn't really happen, and that's what we saw in Game 3. So, like, for Utah, they had it. For lack of a better term, they had Vegas by the balls. They had it. They had the series in the bag. It was 4-3 after coming back from 3 goals, scoring 4 unanswered in Game 4, and then out of nowhere, Utah kind of chokes it away. They get a little sloppy with their puck mismanagement. Brad Howden scores the game tire, goes into overtime. Doro scores, it's called back, and then we get the Shea Theodore overtime goal. Then you go to Game 5, and again, last night, it was just unbelievable puck mismanagement. You know, Utah's a young team. They're going to get better. They're going to continually and gradually get better as time goes on. But I can't believe how they've choked this away. Vegas, how many times did they mismanage the puck last night? It was unbelievable. Like the shorthanded breakaway for Jack Eichel. Like I remember thinking, I'm like, if I'm a Utah fan, I'm sitting there like, whew, close one. And then 20 seconds later, the exact same breakdown happens and it's in the back of the net. Like, what is going on in Utah, man? They don't know how to play hockey.
I have never seen so many like lucky goals. I don't think the Golden Knights. I can't remember the last time the Golden Knights had a lucky goal like the goals Utah's been getting. Like goals been coming off Vegas defensemen almost like perfectly, which has been crazy. And I don't remember the last time Vegas has gotten like a lucky goal where it bounced off a defender's shin, bounced off the goaltender or something like that. It's been a long time. That's all I can tell because it feels like the lucky goals happen against Vegas for so long. Utah, they've gotten the upper hand and they don't know how to close it out, which over time as Utah becomes a better and better team, and I actually do think I saw someone compare Utah to a young Colorado, which is a bit extreme, but we'll see where that goes. Uh, but
I don't know if Utah has an Nathan McKinnon.
yeah,
What do you mean?
no.
Tyler Yamamoto isn't Nathan McKinnon?
No, we're discounting T. Ginla, but yeah, no, like Utah, they're gonna be a good team. They're gonna be a contending team in that division where it feels like it's a 3 to 4 headed monster every year, and they're gonna be a good team. They're gonna learn from this, no matter how the series goes, because it's not over yet.
Vegas is a good team too. The coaching change gave them their spirit. There's videos, there's clips, there's quotes all over the internet of John Tortorella in the Golden Knights locker room just yelling at him. You have to play with swagger. You got to have spirit. You got to play with confidence. And a lot of it might sound kind of elementary, right? When you just look at it face value, like, why do these guys need swagger? Why do they need, swag? Like, why? It doesn't. These guys are NHL players. These are guys that have won the Stanley Cup. But confidence is a huge thing, man. When you're not feeling it, you're not feeling it. These are incredible athletes, but they're human too. And when you're not feeling yourself, things go wrong. We see it all the time in the NHL. Torts wants them to play with that swag. He wants them to play confident and not afraid to make a mistake. Play smart, play physical, play fast, but don't be afraid to kind of have some pep in your step. Don't be afraid to go out there and say, dude, I'm in the NHL. I'm on the Vegas Golden Knights. Like, this is awesome. Let's go. And I think that's kind of been the defining factor because the team blew a 3-0 lead on the road in a game where if they would have lost, they would have gone down 3-1 in the series. and they still found a way to come back and win the game. You don't do that if you're not confident in your own abilities and if you don't have swagger. Last night, they're down 4-3 with 1 minute to go. 1 minute to go. And they still found a way to win. Good teams find ways to win, but confident teams find ways to do it in very consistent ways like that.
What more can I say? Ben's been putting it perfectly. We should just make you the third host, Ben.
They're proving me wrong right now because I honestly I had Utah in 6. And I won't lie to you guys, I did fall asleep in the second period last night on the couch trying to stay up to watch it. It's a little bit late here on the East Coast. And yeah, I'm selling my Mammoth stock, dude. I think Vegas has it. I just look at them and they're playing like a team that has that drive, has that fire. Then I don't know, like Carter Hart's proved me wrong. I didn't think he'd be very good coming back, but he's had a couple of really strong games in the series.
We're
And
not talking about games 3 and 4 though. We're not talking about games 3 and 4.
no,
Those.
no, 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 no. He was pretty bad in those, but he
He's
kind of
good when
redeemed
he has
himself
to be.
last night. Yeah, he makes the save, when they need it.
Like
And
there was a sequence last night where I think Utah had a break and then Carter Hart saved it and then the puck ended up on another stick Utah and then Carter just kind of like just dove that way and like made a save and I'm like geez like I don't know if Aiden Hill or Akira Schmid is making that save. Maybe
I
Akira
don't
Schmid.
think so.
Not Aiden Hill. Not Aiden Hill.
No,
no,
no.
As
future.
much as I love Aiden Hill for 2023, he hasn't been the same. It's because of those Brian's pads. I have a theory. I have a theory, right? Those Brian's pads and Golden Knights goaltenders do not go well. That's just my theory, though.
Let's talk about the Minnesota Wild and the Dallas Stars having a classic series right now, like we all expected. Zaylor, I'm gonna go to you first. How are we feeling about the Wild? How are
Oh
we feeling
man.
about their win?
Oh, so game 5, incredible. To walk in to Dallas after game 4, riding the momentum from a very disappointing game 2 and a very disappointing game 3 after I mean, to put it lightly, killed them in game 1. To lose that momentum and immediately flip the switch game 4, keep it going game 5, and now everything is here now tonight in St. Paul at Grand Casino Arena. And
Terrible
I've
name.
seen this argument happening.
Still hate that name.
I
Terrible
still
name
hate
for
it, but
arena.
a terrible name. A
It's the
terrible
G
name.
spot. It's the G spot, bro. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I
It's the
went
G
there and I
spot.
found it. I went there and I found it.
Did you see
Zaylor
that
found the G spot.
somebody bought the X from the XL Energy Center?
They did. This is true. And they
Yeah,
made like
it's
a
like in his
sign in their
front
front
yard.
yard with it.
Yeah, and
Really?
they rig like fireworks to it whenever Minnesota scores a goal, right? It's like torches
Yeah,
that come
yeah.
out.
Like,
It's
but
insane.
I've seen this debate going around the internet, and I'm gonna say it with a very large confidence, and I truly believe this. This is the biggest game in Minnesota Wild franchise history.
Oh, I believe it. I believe it. Like just
I don't.
Would
interrupting
you
you
put
real
it
quick.
over
It's like
the
considering the
2013 Game 7?
I mean, think about it this way: the only time we've made the Western Conference Final, we scored 1 goal. All 4 of those games were irrelevant, right? Doesn't mean anything, and it was 20 years ago. Here we are now. It's been over 10 years since we've won a playoff series, right? And here we are for the first time. We have a 3-2 series lead against our number 1 rivals, the team that used to be the Minnesota North Stars, who left our state because of a certain individual who I will not name that I don't like very much. Um, and here we are at home in Minnesota tonight with a chance to go to the second round for the first time in over 10 years, and the first time with this new core of players that we have. Think about it this way. This is a legacy defining night for a lot of people in the Minnesota Wild organization. We joked earlier that this name would come up. It comes up tonight. John Hines, who are you tonight? And what are you made of? Like, if John Hines wants to beat these allegations that he's a Taylor Hall merchant, that he built his career off the Taylor Hall Hart season, Right here, right now, if you want to prove you're a good coach, go get your team to win this game. Brodeen has been officially ruled out day to day, which is better than we thought. It seems as if it must be a fracture in his leg. However, nothing's been confirmed, but it has been only ruled day to day. However, in his place on the left side is Jeff Petrie.
Ooh, how old is Jeff
And
Petrie?
I'll look that up right now.
38-year-old Jeff
Ooh,
Petrie.
38. All right, man.
And on the other side of that pair, on the third pair, is on his wrong side, Zach Bogosian.
Bogo Norris.
Bogo Norris.
So,
Shout out Bogo Norris. It's been a minute, but
so
hopefully he's having fun with the Sabres in the playoffs.
I hope so. I know I used to talk to him here and there. He's a big Buffalo guy, so I hope he's having a great time right now. Maybe he's rooting for the Wild a little bit tonight because of Bogo, but we'll see.
If this is like a one game scenario, do or die, as much as I would love to have the younger defenseman who could probably bring some energy, I'd take the experienced guy who's probably not going to contribute a lot, but he knows been there in a clinching situation, and
You can maintain.
yeah. By the way,
That's
I
the
just want
thing.
to
Yeah.
I just
You
want to
guys need Brad Hunt.
shout out Brad Hunt, man, Golden Knights legend. Anyways, I just wanted to shout out the black hole that is enveloped on a Don's bed right there.
Yeah. So, this Pablo.
So Pablo, fifth
Say hi.
guess.
Yeah. Sir, other
Yeah,
host.
I initially I had Minnesota winning in seven because I felt really good about Minnesota this year. I think I think they were my pick to make it out of the West because I said Carolina and Minnesota as my cup final, but I don't know. I feel like the series could end tonight, and I do feel like Minnesota has the energy to get it done. I felt like Dallas just feels off to me for some reason, and I don't know. I feel really confident Minnesota is gonna get the job tonight. Having Matt Zuccarello back really helps out Minnesota, and it showed in Game Five. And I think they're gonna ride this momentum and get the job done tonight and eliminate the Dallas
I
Stars.
like your point, Zaylor, when you talk about John Hines. I picked Dallas in six because I just thought John Hines is not a spectacular coach. We kind of saw it last year in the Vegas series. There were some problems with John Hines in the Vegas series. He got brutally outcoached by Bruce Cassidy. And so I've always kind of looked at it as, okay, well, no matter what the roster is on the ice, in a 7-game series, I'm going to lean more towards the team who I think has the better coach. And I'm personally very high on Glenn Gulletson. I think he never really got a good shot in the NHL with a good roster. The Stars had a good regular season, but Minnesota's proven me wrong. Minnesota looks awesome. Like they're fun to watch. They're very high octane in their offensive zone. They move the puck well. I'm not going to sit here and say that the script is flipped on John Hines just yet. However, I think that this is a turning point for the Minnesota Wild organization. You said it yourself. Like, they haven't won a playoff series in 10 years. They've gone all in this year. They got another superstar. They got Quinn Hughes. They have a unbelievable roster, a mix of vets and young talent. They're fast. They play hard. They're tough to play against. That's key for the Minnesota Wild. Even in last year's series against Vegas, I kept looking at Minnesota like, these guys are tough to play against. A guy like Marcus Foligno is tough to play against, and that's been the difference in this series. So I'm higher on Minnesota for sure. Let's see if they can get it done tonight, man.
Yeah,
I'm
so
full
I'm
on.
oh, go ahead.
Sorry,
Go
sorry.
ahead.
I was just gonna say I'm full on rooting for Minnesota tonight. In my cup bracket, I have Dallas winning the cup. I don't even care about that anymore, man. The world needs to see Quinn Hughes eliminate Mikko Rantanen. It needs to happen tonight. Mikko, by the way, if any of my fellow Canes fans out there were hate watching, Mikko has been pretty bad this series. He's had a couple of good assists. That's it. He's been
I just want
useless.
to I just want to point out the one game that Mikko Rantanen scored in, Zaylor was there. He's denying it. He's
Yep.
denying
Yep. That's
it.
your favorite player, Zaylor.
No,
Oh,
that is not my favorite. Okay. So here, I want to make some more notes. I obviously this isn't even ironic. I'm gonna keep talking about Hines for a minute here. These next two games are pretty much whether he keeps his job next year or not. And if there's a rookie that's struggling, I don't think you want to keep him in the lineup. I don't think that's the right choice. And I think John Hines made the correct move in scratching him for these two games. It's to be seen how well it works, but with Trennan back and with Zuccarello back, I don't think there's any reason that he should. The only person I would argue that he should be in the lineup over right now is Marcus Foligno, but Marcus Foligno himself hasn't even had that bad of a series compared to last year. So, um, and for Bobby Brink and Bobby Brink's defense, I think it's just a case of this team actually does have like 15 NHL caliber skaters, and there are going to be a couple that aren't going to be there every night. Um, as I said, Yurov not there tonight. He's an NHL caliber player. I just don't think he's ready for the moment yet. We have Robbie Fabry. He has experience, but when you look at the other 12, 13, 14 guys in front of him, I think he's kind of your last string option. And for Bobby Brink, they tried promoting him to that first line in game 3 to replace Zuccarello for when Zuccarello was out, and it just he wasn't outright bad. There was just a couple mistakes, and just the puck handling isn't the same.
If he doesn't save his job, there's a certain coach on the market that I think would do really good in Minnesota. In fact, I
Jim
think he would
Miller.
really do good.
Yeah, of course, we were all thinking of Jim Hiller.
No, but what a passionate rant from you, Zaylor. As someone who's, you know, seen all the years that the Minnesota Wild have been futile in trying to make it out of the first round, a couple of it to the Golden Knights, but that's one thing. But uh, but I'm really am excited for Minnesota. Minnesota is a great team. Really like the team this year. Adding Quinn Hughes is monumental, even though he hasn't really been doing a lot this series as much as I thought he would.
He
But
is munching minutes. I'll give him that much. He is taking those minutes, and he's not being like terrible in that aspect. So, what I
Quinn
will
Hughes is a
say,
munch.
what was that?
you could say it
Quinn
like
Hughes
that.
is a munch.
You could say it like that.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
but
supposedly from Twitter, that's what I've heard. So
yeah, no,
I
I hope Minnesota closes it out tonight. I need to see Dallas out of the playoffs
I will
now.
I
make one more note. I think the biggest X factor in this game tonight, they talk about Quinn Hughes, they talk about Kaprizov, Zuccarello, Boldy, Volstead. The biggest X factor tonight is Brock Faber. Hometown kid. Everyone's thinking about Hughes. The spotlight is on you. You are the hometown kid. Before this series, 0 points in 12 playoff games. This series, 3 goals, 2 points, 2 assists, 5 points, 5 games.
Calling it right now. He's having a multi-point game tonight. I'm calling it right now. He's at least getting one, but I think he'll have more than one. He's getting a two
Brock
2 point game
Faber,
tonight.
whatever you took at the Olympics, whatever those were, whatever the pouches they were, take them the
Do
fuck
it
up
again.
tonight. We need you tonight. All right,
take 5 of
let's.
them.
All right, what game we have next tonight? Is it Anaheim and
Anaheim
Edmonton?
and Edmonton, that's been a sneaky fun series. Mostly
Oh
because
Yeah.
the
man,
goaltenders have been not the best, but now watch me say that, and then the goalie that if Vegas moves on next,
oh
he
man,
becomes
yeah.
prime Hasek. But um but yeah, no, that series has been sneaky fun. That controversial game 4 overtime goal, although I don't really think it's that controversial.
I don't.
Puck was in
Don't
the
blame
net. Come on, let's
It
not
Puck
kid
was
was
in the
Here's the
net.
thing:
Puck was in
you
the
can get
net.
mad about the process. At the end of the day, the puck was in fact in the net.
the
Like
Puck
process
don't
it
was
lie.
doesn't.
wrong. Like they
Puck
did do
don't
it in the
lie.
wrong order, but it was who cares? Like
I
either way,
Even
get
if
you can
they
get mad about the process, but at the end of the day, if the puck is in the net and there's not, goaltender interference or whatever, that's a goal. And the
even
yeah,
if
puck
they
was in the
called it
net.
no goal, if they called it no goal, I still thought even if they reviewed it, it would have became a goal because you could
Yeah,
clearly
that's
see the
yeah.
puck was over the line, even
Yeah.
with Jari's skate over the most important part of the ice. You could tell the puck was over the line. It's like
Yeah.
And
it's
dude, I gotta say it. The response from Edmonton blew my mind in the sense that all they did was cry. Like I couldn't believe the fans, Ryan Whitney, come on, Whit, Matthias Ekholm. Like I couldn't believe the response of just like, oh well, the process that the league did it wasn't fair. And guys, you guys have been to back-to-back finals, and you're down. You just let yourselves go down 3-1 in a series against a team who has not been in a playoffs since 2018. And you're concerned about like the process review. It's clearly in the net. Like, let's not kid ourselves. If the roles were reversed and Edmonton scores that goal, their entire fan base, their players, like, oh, it was a great goal. You know, it was totally in the net. It was way past the line. Like, let's not kid ourselves. But it's just, why are they crying so much? Like, stop crying, own up to your mistake. You guys are down 3-1. They're down 3-2 now. But I hated the response from Edmonton. That was not a championship response. Like, tell me if that happens to the Panthers, the 2023 Golden Knights. Do you think they'd be sitting in the locker room crying about it to the media? No, they'd be like, yeah, well, looked like it crossed the line. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't, whatever. We regroup and we move on. It's not a championship response at all from the Edmonton Oilers. I'm baffled by how low that is.
it's like I don't know why. It's like specifically the Oilers, but I guess you could kind of like say like about all the Canadian teams, they kind of have like this certain kind of entitlement.
God complex. They have a
Yeah, they have
God.
the cause just because you guys are the hockey country, not this year though. You guys are the hockey country. Just doesn't mean you get to like say something that means you're right. It's not like just
Magic.
because it just baffles me how much entitlement, especially from a fan base like the Toronto Maple Leafs, Edmonton Oilers, the
Ottawa.
Canadians,
Saw it with Ottawa a
Ottawa,
little bit.
fucking Ottawa.
We're gonna get to Ottawa.
We're gonna get to that. Oh, we're
Ooh,
gonna get to. Don't worry.
oh boy, oh boy. I am so glad I was right about that series. Kinda, but but yeah,
Can I
no,
just
it's just
mention?
yeah.
Can
Go
I
ahead.
just mention about the Oilers Ducks series? Something that's been incredible to watch, guys. If there's one player I could pick to win the Conn Smythe right now, just first round Conn Smythe, it's easily Jackson Lacombe. Jackson Lacombe is my NHL MVP so far. It's If you guys don't watch the games, it's tough to really like hear Jackson Lacombe as like he's MVP. Like, we got a ton of stars in this playoffs: Connor McDavid, Nathan McKinnon, Sidney Crosby. Jackson Lacombe is doing things that are out of this world right now. He's got Nick Lidstrom poise with a little bit of offensive flair, with just insane first pass, insane gaps. Like, I don't think Jackson Lacombe is being talked enough around the league, but I'm not, if I'm not mistaken, hold on, let me look it up.
There was a
Jackson.
reason he was on the Olympic roster.
Oh yeah.
Like, obviously he didn't play that much, but there was a reason
I
he
don't think
was there.
I don't think he played a game. I don't think he
But
played a
here,
game.
I see. I like this take because I do think he has been remarkable. But I think if we're going off the first round alone right now, I would have to say I'm taking Kaprizov or Taylor Hall over him right now. But
I
That's
would
fair.
do a sneaky Logan Stankoven too.
or Logan Stankoven. Logan Stankoven is a scoring machine right now. But we'll get to that in a minute.
I'd go
Yeah,
with
so
Lacombe.
Lacombe is second in the league in points. He has 8 points in 5 games. He's averaging 26 minutes. He's got 7 assists in 5 games. Like, those aren't human numbers. Like, that rivals when you go back throughout NHL history. I get it. It's 5 games, right? I'm not saying Lacombe
Yeah.
is the greatest defenseman ever, right? But like, 8 points in 5 playoff games, second in the league for points as a defenseman when you're playing against the back-to-back Western Conference champions. Like, and he's doing it at, how old is Jackson Lacombe? Like 20,
He's young.
24,
23.
25. Like, he's young, and he's putting up these insane numbers. That is like Nicholas Lidstrom level stuff. And he does it because he's so composed. Like, he's not the super flashy type, right? but he just reminds me of like an Alex Petrangelo or like a young John Carlson, just like so calm and so has so much demeanor and so much poise. Like I love watching Jackson Lacombe play hockey, man. He's so fun to watch. I just had to highlight that.
I agree. He's a Minnesotan boy. I gotta appreciate it from here. So I love him. I've always been a fan of him. A Gopher legend. Gotta love him. And I think when we look at tonight, I mean, I think it really is on him to close this out for Anaheim because I think, we've mentioned the goaltending hasn't been spectacular. I just got to highlight a couple numbers here. The goaltending I've been saying this, people have been saying, oh, it's Lucas Dostal, they'll be fine. I got to highlight some things that I was really skeptical about. He had a really mediocre at best regular season. Right now, most goals against in the playoffs, first in goals against, uh, last in goals saved above expected, second to last in saves expected above per 60. He's not doing good right now. He is, I would say, right now the worst performing goaltender in the playoffs so far.
Except
I think the
Edmonton's.
only competition is Vejmelka or Connor Ingram.
Or nah, Tristan Jarry. Did he start? He didn't play last game, right?
Bad.
Yeah, but he's only played one game.
Yeah.
I mean, also Jari, his save percentage wasn't great, but for the first two periods, he was solid. We didn't really see that consistency out of Connor Ingram. But here's the thing: is again first in goals against, and also and his goals saved above expected, -5.4. The closest to that is Carter Hart with a -2.9. Not even close. To say he's been bad is an understatement. They're at home, or no? Or is it in Edmonton tonight?
It's Anaheim. It's in Anaheim.
In Anaheim, they're at home tonight. 3-2. Do what you got to take to not make this go 7.
If they don't win tonight, they're not winning this series.
No, I
Edmonton,
agree. And
All I'll say is
honestly,
I had Edmonton in 7. I had Edmonton in 7.
I'm gonna say I think I might have had Edmonton in 6. Obviously, that can't happen, but I think Edmonton wins tonight.
yeah.
Again, Lacombe has been spectacular, and Anaheim is a really fun team to watch. But I mean, now Edmonton is crawling themselves back in the series. It looked like they were kind of down and out after that Game 4 loss. They came back, they won the next game, and I mean, they're lighting Dostal up is an understatement. They're firing. And they're firing on all cylinders. And I can see this going to 7 at Edmonton, coming back from 3-1. I can see it.
It's an interesting perspective because I really see Anaheim winning tonight. I think that they have a lot of experience in that locker room that isn't talked about enough. A guy like Alex Killorn, who has won multiple cups and has been to the dance a ton more times. Like, I think Killer is a loud voice in that locker room. They got other guys who have been there, right? They
Even
got
the
guys
coach.
Coach Q is one of the best coaches in NHL history. I just look at it and I'm like, I just don't see Coach Q, Jacob Trouba, Chris Kreider, Alex Killorn, even if you take away the incredible young guys that Anaheim has, like Cutter Gauthier or Jackson Lacombe, like I just don't see these guys really letting it slip away. Like, yeah, they didn't play a great Game 5. It's okay. It happens. You're on Anaheim ice. Every good team, no matter what, is going to have a bad game in the playoffs here and there. So I kind of think Anaheim locks this one up. I think it's over.
I mean,
All
I
right.
can see.
Back to the Coast to Coast podcast. We would like to thank Ben Bolin for once again joining us on the show. Unfortunately, he had to dip out early before we could finish out the rest of this episode, but we still have Zaylor here. We still have Zaylor here. We still have Donnie Waddy here as well, and
Always.
you have me too. So we're gonna quickly just kind of go over the rest of the series. We're very knee deep into the Western Conference. Now we're gonna swing things over to Philadelphia, where the other night Cam York, off an absolute prayer, sent the Philadelphia Flyers into the second round of the Stanley Cup playoffs, defeating their in-state rival, the Pittsburgh Penguins, in 6 games in an overtime game six. What a game, guys. I mean, even zero
Oh my,
zero, 0-0, that's crazy for
bloodbath.
playoffs. And I just want to point out a stat real quick that I had reposted on a burner account on Twitter. You're not finding my burner account. You're not, unless someone leaks it, which I hope you don't. But the
Oh,
Philadelphia Flyers on March 18th, 2026, so this year, had a 3.8% chance to make the playoffs as of mid-March. Now they are in the second round. What a turnaround for those guys, man. I'm so happy for Philly.
they just came out of the gate so hot to start the playoffs. And like honestly, I don't even feel like they were the better team in that series. I just think that they continued to push and they continued to be tough. And, they got such an early lead, the hole was way too big to dig out of. If Pittsburgh had found a way to get a goal last night, and they were trying their best, but
They were
Dark,
close sometimes too.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. I don't know, the
Darth
Flyers
Vladar.
just know how to hold their own. Finally, after choking away 2 games, they put a clamp on it, and now they get the honor of coming to Raleigh to play hockey. So there you go.
And here's the thing is um I think that's why I said earlier momentum is a real thing. Philly was the hottest team coming into the playoffs. And that's why I had them winning. And they did it. Um what a missile by Cam York. But again, I want to shout out Dan Vladar. 42 save shutout to clinch the victory for the Flyers. Unreal.
Last offseason,
Unreal.
I wanted Dan Vladar on the Golden Knights so bad, and people kind of laughed at me because they showed me his numbers in Calgary the previous season. Like, oh, he sucks. He's not a good
It's
goaltender.
Calgary.
Yeah.
He would have been fantastic as a 1-2 pair with Aiden Hill. I think he would have.
It's also Calgary. Like
Yeah, it's
Calgary's
also
not good. What
Calgary's, yeah,
defensive support is he
not
getting in
good.
Calgary?
Their second round opponent, the Carolina Hurricanes, the only confirmed second round matchup so far. Um, one could be another one could be decided by night. That Western Conference, Colorado versus whoever comes out of Minnesota versus Dallas. But we don't really need to talk about the Avalanche because there's no
They're
really reason
done.
to talk about the LA
Yeah.
Kings.
They
They were
won.
But
They won. Yeah.
they won in a sweep, which is also what the Carolina Hurricanes did, sweeping the Ottawa Senators when most people thought Ottawa had a good chance to upset the Hurricanes. I would like to say I wasn't one of those people. I had Carolina in five. I did not think a sweep was possible because I thought Olmark would steal a game. He almost certainly did. Um, However, good series from the Canes. And let's chat to the local Canes fan here. And or I guess we have two Canes fans here with us, but let's just give us some quick thoughts on the Hurricanes.
absolutely fantastic series to watch. Fuck you to every single analyst, reporter,
Puck
podcaster
Empire.
that was like, "Oh, the Senators, they just play a tough style." The Senators core stinks. They stink. They choked away, did not make the playoffs for multiple years in a row. Make it, lose to the most notorious chokers in the NHL in the Leafs in the first round pretty handily. And then Brady Tkachuk and Tim Stützle are invisible for all of the games. They got a 930 save percentage out of Allmark at some point in the series. And they could not put it away because you can't score on Frederick Anderson. And
I just want to add real quick. I think because I think a lot of talk heading into the playoffs was that they didn't get the goaltending, but they got all the scoring. There was the complete opposite. They got the
yeah,
goaltending, but they didn't get the scoring. And you
and
can't win a playoff game with if one of those isn't going. Maybe you
that's
could
such a
cheat a playoff win with a bad goalie, but you got to score. You have to
yeah.
score goals.
And that's such a testament to just the Canes forecheck and how they played throughout that entire series. There was not a second where they were not hounding the puck, where they were not right in the Senators' face. I mean, you saw Stutzla's quote in Game 3 where he was like, "There's no room, there's nowhere to pass to." I loved it. I loved every second of that series. If the Hurricanes continue to play like that, they are going to just choke out the Flyers. Flyers had their moments against Pittsburgh where they looked like a really dangerous team, and they still have some shooters. I don't think they stand a chance of Carolina's playing that same way. It's
Real
how they
quick,
beat. Go ahead.
what's your pick? What's your pick in the series? I have Carolina in, I'll say 6 games. I feel like that's fair.
I think
I'd say
Carolina
the
in
same.
5. I think Philly might steal one. They might even steal one in Raleigh. Carolina in 5.
I'd
I
say
would
Carolina
be.
in 6.
I feel like, yeah, I feel like the Hurricanes, especially if it was a sweep, if both teams swept, I probably would have said Philadelphia maybe wins, but I think, playing a battering series like you did against our arch rival Pittsburgh, I think that kind of wears you down. And then I think that just kind of leaves Carolina more keen to pounce on their prey, as I would say.
And don't get me wrong, I think Philadelphia is electric and they have a really bright future. I just think Carolina's experience and the rest they have right now, I think they're just going to come out flying again. And I feel like at this year it's kind of just the stereotypical Kane's ECF appearance at this point. So
It's almost routine. And that's another
it's
reason
insane.
why they cannot mess up this opportunity. The bracket is never going to be easier. Right now you got to beat Philly, and then I like their chances against any of the big three. Sorry, Boston. Any of the big three coming out of the Atlantic.
And
I
here's
Yeah,
the other thing. I think the biggest threat to Carolina is Tampa, and Tampa still has to make it out of this series alive.
they might not.
They
Montreal
might not.
looked really
They
good.
Montreal's
might
really
not.
good. Montreal's really good. And speaking of Montreal, real quick, Ian, if you want to add on anything.
A couple more things. Fuck Brady Tkachuk. Fuck Ridley Gregg. I love the response. I love Nick Delorier yelling at their bench to the point where even Travis Green is telling him to shut up. I love Taylor Hall. That hit was a little illegal. That should have been a bigger penalty. That's okay though. That goal was electric. I love Logan Stankoven, and I will be attending game 1 or 2 of the Flyer series. Donnie Waddy meet and greet
Word,
section.
Here, can I
word.
add two things? Can I add two things before we
Go ahead,
move
mate.
on?
Go ahead.
One, that Hall Stankoven Blake line might be the MVP of the first round.
Easily.
And two, I really like the boldness of Brady Kachuk saying that their team was gonna write a story about this series being down 3-0 when I'm not sure he can write. I appreciate the boldness. I
All
do
right.
appreciate the boldness. All right,
tapping
what do we
into
got?
the tapping into the last few series that are still going on. Tampa, Montreal, Buffalo, and Boston. We're gonna start with Tampa, and Montreal because I feel like that series is still gonna go 7, but crushing loss last night after winning a huge game 4, go back home with momentum, and you lay out an egg like that. It's not good for Tampa. I still think Tampa takes it in 7. However, it's still pretty much a coin flip to me, honestly. I could see both teams winning and playing whoever comes out of Buffalo, Boston. Quick thoughts from you guys.
I love the way Montreal looks right now. I really do. Tampa is playing some fantastic structural hockey. I feel like this is the best their system has looked. I just keep thinking about that cycle goal over to Gensel in game 4. Montreal is absolutely electric, and they kind of just feel like a team of momentum. We keep bringing that up in this podcast. It feels like they have a lot of momentum. They're a young team, and they're still trying to get over this first round hump. They weren't very close last year. If they can if this goes to game 7, I might like Tampa a little bit more, just, coming down to experience. But if Montreal has another chance in front of their fans to end this,
Well, they do, don't they? They have game
The
6
game
at home, right?
six.
yeah, yeah, that's
Yeah,
what I
game
mean.
So,
six.
so here's my thing.
They have their
As I'm
chance
gonna say,
right now.
I think the three okay. I think the three loudest barns we might see this playoffs: Montreal tomorrow night, Minnesota tonight, and I think by far the biggest one, Buffalo in game 1.
Such a good. Don't discredit Philly too. Philly last
Philly,
night.
don't get me wrong, Philly was great, but like a Bell Center is going to be absolutely explosive tomorrow. I don't.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if they hit 120 decibels in there. It's gonna be loud. in there, and
And
I don't know if Tampa's going to respond to that.
the last series on the docket, a bit of a crushing game five loss when I wanted Buffalo to win. Buffalo did not win, but I feel like they're gonna get it done in game six, unfortunately for you Boston fans out there. I just feel like Buffalo's a bit of a team of destiny right now to at least get to the conference final. Uh, my prediction was also Buffalo in six. I'm gonna stick on my guns for that. I think so far, apart from like one game inaccuracies, I think I've predicted these playoffs pretty well. I'm not trying to brag, but I'm just saying it's cool that I'm so far pretty close on my predictions.
Buffalo, a little, is it safe to say I'm a little disappointed by their play in this series? Like, they're
I
getting
think
the
you could
wins,
say that.
I don't
but
think it's wrong to say that.
outside of game four, they really haven't been, putting boot to ass. Game one was great, but that's not a sustainable way to win. And I feel like Boston is
Well,
just being
wasn't game one, the one where they were kind of invisible for the first two periods?
yeah, they're getting
And then
booed. Their power play was getting booed.
they just
Like, yeah, they won, but
Yeah,
you can't. I don't think you can rely on insane comebacks like we saw that night. Obviously, don't get me wrong, that was incredible. One of the craziest things
incredible.
I've ever
I'm
watched.
so mad
But
that I missed that, but I was at game one of Utah Vegas, so kind of
you'll
had to.
take
hey,
it.
hey, you
You'll
got
take
some
it,
fun
yeah,
there. You'll
yeah.
take those. But
But
I
go ahead.
I think Buffalo. Here's the thing: is even I am a little bit nervous because Buffalo is on the road at TD Garden here. That's not that's been historically a bad place to be in the playoffs. We've seen it time and time again. TD Garden's a dangerous building. I
If you're a
think
Leafs fan,
Buffalo,
maybe.
especially if you're a Leafs, especially if you're a Leafs fan.
Hurricanes fans of
um,
2022 ring a bell, anyone?
Pretty much
But
um,
everybody but Florida.
no, go ahead. Go ahead,
I
Zaylor.
think Buffalo can still muscle this out. I really think it really depends on how they come out tomorrow, obviously. But I mean, your ideal goal, as cool as it would be to win it at home, your ideal goal is to make sure it doesn't have to go back home. And
Yeah.
that's the thing is if Boston, I mean, again, if Boston wins tomorrow night, that would be another example of a down 3-1 up to 3-3. That's another thing that's kind of
Yeah.
scary. So I liked Buffalo still, but tomorrow will answer a lot of questions if Buffalo can really pick up and play a full 60 minutes and clear this one out.
I definitely feel like they can. I mean, they've won both games in Boston. I don't see why they won't win game six in Boston too. That's just my personal thoughts, but I think
Mhm.
this gets done tomorrow night.
I
And the last series we didn't really talk about because we don't really much to talk about. Kings Avalanche. I mean, who didn't see this coming? That's all I'm asking.
I'll give the Kings a little bit of credit. Games 1 through 3, Anton Forsberg had them in it all the way to the end.
Yeah.
Um, and
That's I was gonna touch on
he's
that
the
too.
MVP for the Kings. He's the MVP for even though they're down in 4 games and obviously didn't have a great game 4. He's the MVP for them because he's the only reason they even got to overtime in those one of those games. So,
Yeah. And
um,
one more shout out. What an incredible career. Even though it kind of came to an end
yeah,
off a whimper, got taken out back and shot like old Yeller. But Anze Kopitar, what a
man,
career. And one of my favorite non-Golden Knights to play in the NHL. He's been scoring against the Golden Knights a lot over his short time against when he was playing, against them. But what a career. Uh, hope he stays in LA, does some stuff. Maybe Kings head coach. We'll see
maybe.
about
I
that,
mean,
but
I would say he's up there, if not the greatest king of all time. And you think about it, if Bergeron didn't exist, he'd have 20 Selkies. So
I think he's a first ballot Hall of Famer.
oh,
first ballot
definitely.
Hall of Famer, for sure. And
Once Doughty retires, like those four pillars of those early 2010s Kings, your Doughty, Brown, Quick, and Kopitar, they're all getting the Hall of Fame. Maybe not Dustin Brown, but we'll see. I mean,
Dustin Brown could be a Hall of Good candidate.
Hall of Good, very definitely
Yeah.
Hall of Good.
First ballot.
Oh,
But
very good.
that is going to wrap up this edition of the Coast to Coast podcast. We'd like to thank Ben and Zaylor for joining us on today's episode. But we got to wrap things up. We do apologize for a bit of a short episode this time, but we do have some hockey I want to watch. So once again, thank you guys for joining us, and we'll see you on the next episode.
Let's
Go
go
Canes.
Wild
Go Canes.
and Canes.